Radwan. I'm cloud DevOps consultant with more than 17 years. So I started back in 2002 as a classic KCP developer before the .NET, and then moved to different tools, technologies, and also relocated for several countries, eventually in the UK, London-based. During that, I started as a developer, but for the last 8 years, I focused on consultancy-based role, where I helped more than 50 enterprise customers, some of them from the Fortune 500. For the community, I authored many guides, framework, open source, which is published on GitHub, Azure DevOps Marketplace, and many others. And I'm presenting many sessions in many countries, either it's a local or regional events. So I got the chance and opportunity to work. I really like the idea of having several or many culture with different team size and project size. And I have a YouTube channel with blog where it has hundreds of videos and blog with more than thousands of subscribers and millions of views. Okay, and this is some links about me. So our agenda today. So I will talk about the Microsoft MVP, which is already introduced, some of the MVP categories, and then also some numbers about the MVP per countries. And also here, I will take an example like Denmark and benefits of being an MVP, and also some of the MVP or what is the MVP award process. And then some of my last contribution. I think based on the feedback, people asked me to share what made me an MVP, especially for the last year, for example. And of course, I will talk about Q&A. So I think now we are clear about what is Microsoft MVP, and this was very clear for everyone. So let's move about some of the numbers about the MVP. So if we look at the numbers, the around number in the MVP for all countries, it's around 2,850 MVPs, and this distributed over 90 countries. So it is not like MVPs exist in every country. Some countries, they don't have even one MVP, and these MVPs is divided into 11 categories and 95 contribution area there is some contribution area under each category. So for example, if we talk the largest country that has MVP, it's USA with more than around 500 MVPs, and the second country is UK with around 200 MVPs. So for example, this is the categories as you saw previously in some of the early session or the early speaking today. So I'm not going to talk about them, but at the end, it's just 11 categories. And as you can see here, in each category, we have several or many contribution area. So you usually pick one of the category and pick one of the contribution area that you would like to to get the MVP, or this is the areas that you have the passion that you want to share. For example, in my case, I am a developer technology and I am Azure DevOps MVP, and this is where I talk or I get my MVP award. Of course, it could be, for example, for some other people in Xamarin, or maybe, for example, Node.js or Visual Studio. It could be, for example, category like AI and the category is AI, and the contribution area could be Azure Machine Learning and so on. And this is the rest of the categories with their contribution areas. So now we understand, like what is the contribution area and the category. So let's look at the numbers per country. So here, this is the MVP per country starting or ordered by the largest first. So you can see the United States, United Kingdom, Japan, Canada, and with each country, how many MVPs. And this number is based on all categories for the MVP for each country. So this is the other countries. As you can see, you have in Nepal around 7. And this is the last page. So many countries, as you can see, it has just one MVP, and as I say, some other countries, they don't have any MVPs. Okay, so let's take an example like Denmark, for example, to just give you an idea. So if you go for Microsoft most valuable professional website, and let's search for Denmark. I really like Denmark. I spent 3 years lived in Denmark before. So for example, if you look for Denmark, you will find that Denmark has 31 MVPs. And these 31 MVPs, they are divided into 11 categories with or under 95 contribution area. So if you specify the category, let's say developer technologies, you will find that they just have 5 MVPs in the developer technologies. And as I explained to you before, the developer technology has 17 contribution area, which means that you don't even have one MVP for each contribution area, because I know all the MVPs in Denmark. So most of them in the .NET. So for example, there is no Azure DevOps MVP. I was the only one in Denmark as an Azure DevOps MVP. And also I'm originally from Egypt, so I'm the only Egyptian in the world, that Azure DevOps MVP. So this is just to give you an idea about, it is not like with each category or with each contribution area, you should have an MVP. So benefits of being an MVP. So yes, as some of the people or our great speakers speak about it, it just you have early access for some of the product. I usually explain some of the information, of course, under NDA. To just to give you an idea, if people are aware of Azure DevOps, before Microsoft announces the new name, it was Visual Studio Team Services. And before the new UI, I was working with this in the early access. And of course, it was under NDA 6 months before announcing the new name. So I know about the new name. I worked with this version, which is the new UI, and we know everything about the product, and again, it was under NDA, so I can't even speak about it. But just imagine that 6 months before the public announcement or anyone can access that, I have a full experience about what is the product, it will look like, how it's going to work. And this is why the second day Microsoft announced that this is the new UI for Azure DevOps and the new name, I have many sessions introducing that, because I already work on that for 6 months before. And again, this is, of course, there is many cases like that. Of course, the MVP Global Summit in Redmond, we usually travel every year to meet Microsoft product team in their office in Seattle. We also have Visual Studio subscription with a full license of Microsoft. I got all Microsoft license using Visual Studio subscription. We got around $150 as an Azure subscription, and we can extend or increase that to be $1,000. Of course, if we have a business case and we can raise that to speak to Microsoft, and they will extend that. Of course, there is many other third parties tools and the license for free, like Pluralsight, LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn Learning, Camtasia, Screen Recording, or Snagit, or DevExpress, or Expert Exchange, ReSharper, or WebStorm, 50% for exam discount, GitHub Pro, Octopus Deployment, Infragistics UI Control, TypeMock as a unit testing, Redgate for database tooling, and many other. I will say the list is really huge. And again, it is not only there is many benefits. It's very difficult to list all of them. So let's look at the process of being an MVP. So again, as some of our speaker today explained, it's just, you need to provide some contribution. So for example, it could be videos on YouTube, it could be blogs, wikis, could be, for example, technical forums or discussion like Microsoft or Stack Overflow, open source libraries or extension framework, GitHub or any others. session, event, user group, conferences, meetups, product feedback and ideas, extension or tool on Azure Microsoft Marketplace. So this is the types of contributions that you can provide to the community. And of course, again, you can invent some of the contribution even for so the processes start by first you are expert in one contribution area. You have the passion and you get really a very good experience in this area. And then you start sharing your knowledge across several or different contribution area and the channels for this area. And then you start approaching one of the Microsoft MVP, like you just go for any MVP or MSFT or Microsoft full-time employee, and then asking for nominating, or if you can nominate me, please. Of course, it's based on how your contribution looks like and your impact that you made. And once he will just send you the contribution, so you will send the contribution to him if he agreed to nominate you, and then this will be under review. So this person, either an MVP or MSFT, will take your contribution and send that to the MVP program, and this will take under review, and this will take usually around 90 days or 3 months from the moment that this submitted to the moment the cycle of the reviewing or the review of the MVP, and this including, of course, the first is the country, and then after you pass the country, you go for the region, and after you pass the region, you go for the worldwide or the global, and of course, it's also it's part of the the judge or the people that can select the MVPs is the product team themselves. So it just took around 90 days. Once this completed, of course, you can be awarded, or to just let you either award or not award. So you will start the cycle again. But again, it is based on, for example, how many times people can nominate you. Of course, they can nominate you every time. It just the ability to understand the process is very important. Okay, so some of my last contribution from my points that made me MVP. To just give you an idea, I was attending an event in the UK. I was a speaker actually in this event, and this was, as you can see, around 70 people attending this event, and one of the very large community in the UK here. And one of the speaker was explaining and putting some of the reading material in her session about me. And this is what I would like to emphasize here is, it's again, she put my contribution not only because I am MVP, but because she really believed that this contribution or this information is really very important, and this is why she. By the way, I didn't know her, so and this is part of how you can provide really a value for your contribution that people, not even the not even anyone, but even the people that is really speakers and many events, they will use your contribution to share it with people. Another one, for example, here I developed or created some of the videos about how to develop an extension for Azure DevOps, and I was speaking with Microsoft about that, and they really like that. So what they did, they just took these videos and they put it as a part of the Microsoft technical documentation. So if you go for this link, for example, you can see this is my videos. If you click on that, it will forward that to my YouTube channel with all of that. So this is also one of the things that's really very good. Another one is one of my videos I created also. I found some of the Microsoft just to contact me and ask for my permission if they can use this video on Microsoft official lab site. Of course, I say, of course, I'm happy about that. And as you can see here, they just reference with thank you for me to have this great video, and they just put it here in the lab. And of course, if you go for that, you can see all the lab. And here also I share with that some of the broadcasting from many places in the world. They talk about what is the good contributions that you read, and you will find here many people talking about my contribution and how it was fantastic and many things. Again, it's really good when you feel like your contribution is really impacting not only in one country, but it's just impacting the world. That's it. If there is any Q&A or.
Okay, sir. Thank you. It was a nice, insightful about your roadmap to become a MVP. So one question I have from you. So, Miss, you yourself has become a MVP, or so you have seen someone MVP, and the interest the interest came on you and you became the MVP. So like that you have become the MVP, or you say you yourself has tried to become an MVP?
No, actually, I usually say I will contribute, share my knowledge, even I'm MVP or not. Because at the end, I'm really enjoying sharing my knowledge. I really enjoy, document my knowledge and share it with people, because once you share your knowledge, you will get feedback. You will improve this knowledge. For example, I remember my first mocking framework. It was in 2010, before becoming an MVP, and this framework on CodePlex. This was very old, and I get very good feedback about some improvement for the framework. And so what I'm trying to emphasize here, that by sharing your knowledge, you get feedback and then you improve. And when I started sharing my knowledge, and then I just heard about the MVP program, and then some people just told me about that, and yes, I saw that it will be nice to be an MVP as well. And this is usually what I say. I became more famous even before I got my MVP. For example, before I get the MVP award, all my contribution was shared by Microsoft employee in the world. I found Microsoft official website talk about me. So, and this is why usually I will say for people, before receiving the MVP award, there is some science around that you are going to receive them. When you feel like your contribution is really impacted the world.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
no problem.
Thank